Facebook is planning on banning all political ads, all new political ads in the week leading up to the general election. Mark Zuckerberg explained his reason for doing so in a letter to staffers, and it has everything to do with what he fears will be civil unrest as a result of disinformation around the general election. So he says, I generally believe the best antidote to bad speech is more speech, but in the final days of an election, there may not be enough time to contest new claims, Zuckerberg said. Though he noted that advertisers will be able to continue running ads they started running before the final week and adjust the targeting for those ads. So there are other measures that they're taking. I'm just gonna be clear in saying that banning new political ads 1 week before election day, I don't think is gonna do much, but we'll see. Other measures include Facebook putting an authoritative election information or putting authoritative election information at the top of users' Facebook and Instagram feeds, and they will remove any posts that contain misinformation about voting or try to use the coronavirus pandemic to discourage voting. Facebook says that, quote, if any candidate or campaign tries to declare victory before the final results are in, it will add a label to the post directing people to the official results from Reuters. So I think that last part is actually the most important measure that they're taking. There's a lot of worry that Trump will declare himself the victor because on actual election night, it's more likely that he's gonna have a lead. But as the mail-in votes come in, Biden could end up winning, right? And so if Trump declares victory before all the votes are tallied, that's gonna be an issue. I just also wanna read some other excerpts from his letter to staffers because it gives you a sense of where his head is at. And I'm actually happy that he's worried about this. The US elections are just 2 months away, and with COVID-19 affecting communities across the country, I'm concerned about the challenges people could face when voting. I'm also worried that with our nation so divided and election results potentially taking days or even weeks to be finalized, there could be an increased risk of civil unrest across the country. The election is not going to be business as usual, since this pandemic means that many of us will be voting by mail, and since some states may still be counting valid ballots after election day, many experts are predicting that we may not have a final result on election night. And finally, he says it's important that we prepare for this possibility in advance and understand that there could be a period of intense claims and counterclaims as the final results are counted. This could be a very heated period.
So there's a couple of issues here. So first of all, before the election, the reason to take action a week before is because at the very end, there could be a ton of misleading information about how to vote. So now you have to understand that the Republicans have been liars and cheats for decades. It's not a new thing with Donald Trump. And so I'm not saying that because I'm biased, I'm saying that based on actual reality and facts. So very often they will send out flyers in elections saying, now everybody remember, Republicans vote on Tuesday, Democrats vote on Wednesday. Now you can say, hey, you shouldn't fall for that trick. And 1,000 other robocalls they do trying to mislead people, and some of their tricks are not so obvious, but they do 1,000 tricks to try to make sure the Democrats don't vote on election day. And right now, Trump is obviously being super brazen by telling his voters to vote twice, even though it's illegal, and telling people we're not gonna count the mail-in votes because they're fraudulent, because Democrats are requesting more mail-in ballots. So they're notorious cheaters, and now Trump has put it on steroids. Now, a lot of the mainstream media knows these facts, will report these facts once, and then never ever refer to them again because they don't want to offend their Republican viewers by telling you the truth about the Republican Party. So that's why you have to do it a week before the election. They say if you ran ads before that, we'll continue to run those old ads, but we won't let anyone put new ads in because we're worried about this extra level of wrong information right before the election. There's also what's going to happen after the election. So after the election, it's possible that Donald Trump and all of his supporters. In fact, it's likely in the middle of the election, on election day, for them to say Trump has already won. In fact, here, I'll do a prediction for you guys. I'll predict for you that on election day, before the polls close, Republicans will already be declaring Trump the winner and try to get that to be a talking point that sticks in the media. So it makes it seem like if Biden says he won, that, oh, they're just being sore losers, right? And that allows them to cheat. So Facebook is trying to take precautions because they're now, in essence, the largest media outlet there is. And they're saying, okay, on this rare occasion, we're going to try to minimize the amount of misinformation that comes out because we might not have a democracy if we don't. Well, that's true.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.